Hey there, fam. It's your Healthy Life Coach 702. I just wanted to touch bases with you guys today and just to remind you that you're not alone. I know, times are getting tougher financially. People don't have a lot of patience and so on. But on the financial tip, many of us that have been through narcissistic, abuse, you're told a lot of things that stick to your mental. It's like etched in your brain. It's brought you down emotionally and so on. And with these tough times, you may be tempted to, go back to that person for, fight. You may, believe the lies that they have told you, that you'll never amount to nothing. You'll never make it on your own, or you'll never be anything. Just know that you are going to make it. You will make it through. Know that you're not alone. Many of us are struggling, and we just have to take some time and go back to the drawing board, make a plan. Make a plan as far as budget. Put everything down on paper. Start with, although we have our electronic banking systems and so on, and we can just take a look at our account. Actually physically write it down. Believe it or not, you'll catch different things that you can possibly cut your budget, or alleviate out of your budget, or you may even find charges that you didn't authorize, or duplicate charges. So just try that. Challenge yourself to 30 days of that, and then maybe even make it a habit. You can cross-reference with your electronic banking, but it's something about putting it down on paper. You will catch different things, as far as, like I said, being able to cut the budget, or charges that shouldn't be there. Also, with the gas prices, find a way to maybe reduce your time out driving. Whether you can maybe do all your errands in one trip. Even something as simple as making all right turns. Something about left turns, they burn more gas. And alleviate any additional weight out of your car or truck, that things that you don't need to carry around, especially like the gallon bottles of antifreeze and things like that, because believe it or not, that weight adds up, and that weight will cause you to burn more gas. Also, as far as shopping, make those lists. Although, again, we have the electronic list, try putting a list on the refrigerator. As you run low on things or run out of things, add it to the list, or back it up and put it in an electronic list. That way, if you don't have your written list, you'll have the electronic list with you. And what that does is that avoids the situations where you may be double buying. And what I mean by that, you're like, oh, I can't remember if we have ketchup or we don't, and you'll end up buying, and then you'll find out, oh, I went to Costco 2 months ago, and I have 2 bottles of ketchup in the pantry. And in these times, no one has a lot of extras to just throw away money when things are, we're dealing with inflation, and things are skyrocketing, actually, by the day. So that's another way to cut your budget, and avoid those impulsive buys. Again, a lot of us that have been through narcissistic abuse, we tend to find comfort in things like instant gratification, as far as, like, those impulsive buys, or I'm just going to go to the mall. Well, if you're having issues with your budget, maybe going to the mall is not such a good thing, because you're going to see something that you may, want to purchase. And you have to remind yourself on each and every purchase, do I need it, or do I want it? And obviously our needs, come before our wants. And again, trying to survive these times, and deal with your healing process. Again, it's so important to let go of those negative people, those toxic people, those naysayers. If they're not adding to your healing process, they're not encouraging you, they're not giving you any type of value, it's time to let these people go. It's just that simple. You got to let them go. Sometimes, we as women, we always, we're the ones that want to make everything okay, and we always want to just see, the good in people, and oftentimes ignore the negative. But sometimes you have to, consider that negative, because many times the negative outweighs the positive, and it's just not worth it to your mental health, your emotional well-being. So, on that note, don't be tempted to give in and go back to your narcissistic abuser just on the account of finances. There, where there's a will, there's a way. You start with cutting your budget, limiting, the times you have to drive. You may even consider other, side hustles, or if you have, some spare space in your home, or a spare garage or something that maybe you can turn into an Airbnb, an Airbnb experience, something along those lines. Consider that. You leave some comments, down below, and I will consider making videos on different ways that you can add to your current income, and not have to even think about going to that narcissistic abuser for financial assistance, because in the long run, is your mental health or your emotional well-being worth you interacting with that person, and for them to always criticize you, bring you down, and always tell you these lies? You have to remember, people that are narcissists, they just like all of us, we all come with spirits, but usually people with narcissism, they come with demonic spirits, and you don't need those spirits. You don't need those spirits around you, in your home, through your telephone, through text, and definitely not near your kids, or even family members, because believe me, they are very focused on ruining your life, and they get a kick out of it, whether it's going through even your parents. They'll contact them or it could be friends, people that you guys mutually know. They'll do that, and say different things about you, and knowing that you're in communication with those people, and raise doubt. And those people will ask you, hey, I talked to so and so, they mentioned this, is this true? And then all that does is that causes anxiety, causes anger, and it's just not worth it. It's better to just cut them off completely, act like they never existed, and put those positive vibes out there, because again, where there's a will, there's a way. And if you're a believer, God will not let you down, will not leave you, will not forsake you. So on that note, continue to keep putting those positive vibes out there. Continue to surround yourself with positive people, and get into positive activities, regardless of what you may feel like. You can't always give in to your feelings. You have to sometimes go against your feelings, even when you don't feel like getting out there. Maybe just a long walk, and that all of course falls up under that umbrella of self-care. Sometimes just taking that walk will provide you an outlet to relieve some of that stress, to help clear your mind, where you can think clearly and not have to depend on or consider going back to that narcissist. That's all they're going to do, is they'll uplift you for a moment. They will love bomb you and so on, and just to discard you. As soon as they get bored, they're done with you, they're going to let you go, and they're going to talk about you like crazy, and it's not going to be in a positive light, and all it's going to do is tear you down, and you deserve better than that. Know that you are enough, and on that note, be blessed.